Okay, so here's the project inside of Webflow. Now let's go ahead and break it down. First, I'm going to show you the collection and how it was built. All right, so this collection right here, I have a switch, and this switch lets the user, the client, turn it on and off whenever they want. I have a notification message, a link label, and a notification link. And lastly, when the user clicks on the close button, how many days until that cookie that's just been added to the user's computer, how many days until it expires. Okay? And how I built this is I have a notification bar wrapper, which is a collection list. And then I have the notification bar. And this notification bar, I have it set to fixed. So it's at the top with this guy right here. I'm going to set the z-index to 1000 so it's on top of everything. And I give it a background color. Okay? And the notification bar container, all it is flex and setting the children elements to be centered vertically and horizontally. And I set the max width to 1200 and centered that on the page with auto on both margin sides. Okay, and then I have my notification message, the button, which also has the link label and the link, and lastly a cookie expiration number. So that's from the number field on the collection, but I set that to display none because the user doesn't need to see that, but the computer needs to see it in the code. Okay? All right. So let's rebuild this on a new page just to show you how I made it. All right, so I'm going to call this work, and the first thing I want to do is let's start a new collection. Let's pretend I didn't even make a collection at all. So I'm going to start with bar. I'm just going to call it bar. And let's start with that switch. Should this be on? Okay. And we're going to do the notification message. And this one is required. We're going to have a button label. Now this is not required because sometimes notifications don't have a link. So that's not going to be required. And next we're going to do the link. Okay, so we have a button link. And lastly, we're going to do a number field. And this one is going to be how many days until cookie expiration. Okay, and this one's required as well. Okay, create collection, and we're done. Let's go ahead and add our first notification. So we're just going to call this Hello World. And this name doesn't show up anywhere except for the collection, so you can name it whatever you want. As for notification message, hello, this is a test. This is only a test. Bacon. I don't know. And so the button label, let's just say go to Webflow. Okay, and the link is going to webflow.com, and it's going to expire in 7 days after the user clicks on the close button. Create, and there we go. All right, let's bring in the collection list to start designing this. Just going to bring that here, and I want to pull from our collection named bars. Okay, and let's go ahead and in the collection item, let's go ahead and drag in a div block. All right, and this is what's going to be the color of our notification. So I'm going to call this notification bar. Oh, I already used that. Okay, let's do it over. Let's call this, let's just call this bar. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, I already used this? Oh, darn. Well, anyways, the only thing I did with this bar is I added a color. That's all I did. I added a background color. Okay? Now, Now that's done. Let's go ahead and add some padding. Do whatever you want. I'm just going to add, let's say 24. I'm going to add 24 on all sides. All right, now I'm going to add another div block. Okay. And inside there, this is going to be bar container. Okay, this is going to contain the actual content in the bar. So I'm going to do the max width of 1200 and center it on both sides. Oh, right here. There we go. And also I'm going to set this to flex, center. Awesome. And yeah, so that's that. Now I get to pull in some data. So let's bring in a text block. And I'm going to pull this from, not name, notification message. All right. And after that, let's put in a button. And I'm going to get the URL. And we don't have to do that. We can do button label. And there we go. Cool. Now we can style this however we want. For example, maybe that's not the best color. Maybe we can make the background color of the button, maybe yellow. Yeah, this is all up to you now. We'll do orange. Cool. And let's go ahead and move this away. And so you have your button. Done. All right. Actually, this needs to be white. Let's go ahead and make that white. There we go. Okay. So we have our notification and our button. And the button goes to wherever the link that we set. All right. Now, we need that close button. Okay. We need that X. And what I did with the home page, let's see here. What did I do? Oh, okay. This home page, this X is actually a multiplication symbol. And you can find that by Googling ASCII, that's ASCII, multiplication. And that's a better thing to use rather than the letter X. So I'm just going to copy this from here. And let's go ahead and bring in the link block. I'm going to put the link block in the bar. And I'm going to double click. Oh, I can't do that. All right, then I'll put a text inside of there. Double click. Replace it with multiplication. There we go. Now I have to style this link block. So I'm just going to say, call it close. And let's go ahead and style it. So let me fix it real quick. Probably something like that, sure. There we go. Not 100. There we go. 60%. Now, I want this on the top right, and so what I have to do is I have to go to the bar and set this to position relative. Okay, when I do position relative, all right, that means that any child element that has position absolute, this it will target this bar as its position, okay, as its original position. So I'm going to go to my close, set this to position absolute, and look at the target. It's going to bar. That's what I want. Let's put it at the top right, and let's push it down. Yeah, that seems about right. Push it. Whoa, that's too much. Push it there. Okay, cool. All right, so we're already halfway done. Now let's go ahead and take this bar. Okay, and let's go ahead and set a page trigger. Okay, I'm going to set the page load. So when the page finishes loading, what is it going to do? Let's do bar load. For this move, this initial state, where is it going to show up when the page first loads? I want it to push it 100%. Now I'm going to just show you really slowly. So I started at -1%, and this is what it's actually doing. It's going off the canvas without having some sort of scroll bar to go follow it. Okay, so 100 is there. And let's go ahead and move. So after a delay of 1 second, it should move back to 0%, which is its origin. And it looks like this. Now it looks very linear because it is. So I can change this to something like ease out, or what I like to use is like out quart. So it looks like this. Okay. Has that better easing effect. And there we go. All right. And lastly, for the interactions, we need it to close. So I'm going to close out of that. And let's go to the close. There we go. So we have the close right here. Element trigger. I'm going to click on tap. And the first click, the first and only click, we're going to call this bar close. And before I click on the plus sign, I want to make sure that I go back to Navigator and click on bar. Okay? Now, when I click on the plus, this means that when I click on the X, I'm going to affect whatever element that I have selected here. Okay? Does that make sense? So the trigger is here, but the action is going to happen on something else. All right? So when I click on this, the move very simply is going to go back to negative 100%, and we'll set that easing to in quart, so it looks like this. Okay, and also when that's done, I'm going to do the hide and show and remove it off the page by doing display none. Okay, so if I preview, wait 1 second, shows up, click, it's gone. Okay. That's simple. All right. Now, let me explain the code that makes this all work. Okay. Let me go ahead and just copy the code for now from this page. We're going to go to the work page. And yeah, if you clone this site, if you clone this project, the code will be there. So you can just copy and paste it. Okay. Now, I'm going to open up my Navigator panel, and yeah, I'm going to show you how all this works. Okay, so script, line 1 script. This is just telling the computer, hey, we have some JavaScript coming. Be prepared. Second, get script. This is just telling the computer, hey, I want you to get this JavaScript and make it work. That's all it is. Just here's the JavaScript. Make this work. And after that, I'm setting some variables. That's what var means, variables. So the first variable is the cookie name. And I just named it whatever I want. So I called it notification closed. You can change this to whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay. For cookie value, I just call it user closed it. I mean, this is, to me, the value is what's the action that happened. And again, you can change this to whatever you want. Your users won't really see it unless they click on the padlock and actually look into their cookies. Okay. And lastly, the cookie expire. So I told you about that number field in the collection and the hidden. Oh, I didn't add it. Let's go ahead and add it real quick. Let me save changes. Let me throw the, there you go. Select field. There we go. So I have it at 7, and I'm going to call this bar number and set this to display none. Okay, so that's what that code means. Okay, there you are. So that's what the code means right here, the cookie expire. So I'll change this to bar number because that's what I named this. So remember, in code, you have to replace all uppercase letters with lowercase and spaces with dashes. Okay, because that's what Webflow actually does when you publish a site. But in your custom code, you need to do that same thing. Okay, so there we go. Bar number, bar number. Okay, and so all I'm doing is with jQuery, where's the element with the class of bar number? Okay, once you find that, find the text within it. And then it finds the text, and then this guy right here says, hey, take that text and convert it to a number. This says, hey, do you have a cookie? If so, then remove the notification bar. In this case, we name this one bar container. So we can just go like this and rename it to bar container or whatever you name it. Okay. And so if there is a cookie already inside the user's computer, remove it. Okay, that's all that's doing. Okay, now if there isn't a cookie, then we wait for the user to click on the, there we go, the close, the element with a class name of close. So when the user clicks on it, we're going to set a cookie where the cookie name is this, the cookie value is this, and the cookie expires from this guy. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. All right. And if not, just ask on Slack. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this. And let me change the username though. I mean the cookie name. We'll call it bar closed. Bar closed, user closed it, save, publish. And let's see if it worked. There we go. And close. Now if I refresh, it shouldn't show up. Ah, it still showed up. Now, there's this thing right here. Let me show you. Nope, wrong one. There we go. Okay, so with this collection list, I need to name this as well. Ah, I see what I did. So I need to name this as well. I'm going to call this bar collection list. Okay. And the code is only removing the bar. So I need to remove the bar collection list. There we go. Let me save and publish. Okay, let me refresh, and it shouldn't show up at all. Yep, it's gone. Now if I click on cookies, remove this, refresh, it shows up. Close it, it's gone. Refresh, and there we go. Cool. Let's delete the cookies one more time. Remove, done, refresh, and it shows up. All right, cool. And now I think lastly, we want to make sure that this stays on top of everything. So this collection bar list should also be position fixed. That means it's on top. It'll never go away even if you scroll down. And we're going to put this on top of everything. So I'm just going to set this to a ridiculous number like 1 and then put a bunch of zeros. And that's it. Our job is done. So that's the first tutorial video. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Give it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Other than that, I will see you in the Slack channel. And speaking of which, if you use this component and the code inside of a project, please post it in the showcase Slack channel. And I want to see, okay? So thank you so much. And as always, make the web beautiful. See ya.